Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Harry Langdon, and I'm here to give you insights into the world of Bob Mackie, who's this wonderful creative costume designer for Cher, for Anne Margaret, for RuPaul, for Carol Burnett, and many, many, many more. And so I thought you might like to know a little bit more about Bob and his background and some of the other work that we've done together. And Anne Margaret, like I said, it's one of the first sessions I got a pleasure to work with Bob on. And so Bob is an expert at making women look extraordinary, way out glamour, over the top glamour that is very show business. So when they come on stage, they go, wow, check this out. And a lot of it's because of Bob's designs. He's an expert at getting these costumes assembled, and so they work well on stage. And so today, let me give you a few more insights about Bob Mackie's background, and also we're going to talk about Cher and a few other things too, okay? So anyway, as I said, Anne Margaret was one of my first clients, and this was a costume that Bob designed, which she wore on stage and on TV, and so she's the epitome of like a really good subject for Bob Mackie's creations. And so Anne Margaret's one of my favorites to work with. She's a really exciting woman who is just totally full of charisma, dynamic energy, amps and wattage and everything. So this is another nice form-fitting outfit, Anne Margaret. So, most of Bob's creations were beaded. A lot of them were beaded. And if you notice, there are bugle beads, sequin beads, all sorts of beads. And so I had the pleasure, though, of going into Bob Mackie's workroom. It was near my studio in West Hollywood. And he has a staff, you never believe, about 10 people that are just there to sew the beads on these costumes. And they're very labor intensive people. It's not done by a robot so, they're all done by hand. And Bob's very well noted for them. They're also lined really well, so they can make it through a couple performances in Las Vegas, like this one with Anne Margaret. And so, these performers whip around and jump around, and they have like 3 shows a night, and so these costumes have to hold together really well. And so Bob is quite an engineer at getting these seamed together so they don't collapse, because if they lose an outfit, for one performance, then they have to change outfits for the next performance. Here's another. I picked these shots of Anne Margaret, by the way. These are some of my favorites. They're derived from, I hate to say, but maybe 500 shots I could have shown you. But Anne Margaret is really good at getting that wicked look at the camera, and she's a real pro, and so wonderful singer also. And so I just thought I would bring you more insights in what Bob did on these. They're just gorgeous, and they look really good from the distance. And these were taken over about 3 or 4 different photo sessions, all done in my studio. And these were shot with strobe light, by the way, to freeze the action of another kind of a slinky outfit. These are a little departure from the normal Bob Mackie show business stuff. And so here's another really fetching shot on Anne Margaret that a lot of people particularly like. And so I wanted to bring you just Anne Margaret's work. And so but also I want to digress into how creative Bob Mackie is. The world of creativity is really quite interesting. To be able to, after one subject after another, he has to be more and more creative, because he may make the subjects look really dynamic and sexy and for one performance, and then but he has to keep going for an encore. Maybe the encore may be in another year. He may have to come up with new ideas for them. So he's a real genius at doing this, and so I've got a real chance to work with him on these. Here, by the way, I didn't mention that Bob also has a Barbie line of Barbies, and they're quite successful, by the way. It's really charming. I don't know who did the makeup, but so Bob's got a Barbie line, especially since the movie came out. And another digression here is Bob was asked to design a dress for Marilyn Monroe for the famous, controversial birthday song that she sang to President John F. Kennedy. And it was, the famous performance that she did that was known around the world, and it wasn't too much longer, but JFK left this world, unfortunately. So anyway, I thought you'd like this. I didn't take the shot, by the way, but that's Marilyn Monroe from the back, and she's performing at that point. Okay, let's switch over to another exciting personality. And during the time I was working with Margret, we also got a call to photograph Cher. And Cher and Sonny were doing a performance of Sonny and Cher show. And so Cher got wind that I was really good at working with Bob, and it turned out real powerful, dynamic, flashy pictures that would perhaps work for her and Sonny on the Sonny and Cher show. But Bob took a little offbeat direction and thought, because Cher's got a notorious reputation for being a rebel, kind of like a rowdy. And so he thought he'd do a pirate outfit for Cher. And this was quite fetching, it's a pretty sexy shot. And so again, this is all shot in my studio back in the 80s. Here's another one from the famous pirate sessions. And so all the time we're listening to Cher's music, by the way, on the stereo. Here's another one from the pirate adventure. And so I got a kick. These are some of my favorites, by the way. And Bob designed this outfit. It wasn't all bugle beads and sequins. Bob was really good at making a statement with black leather, by the way. And so here's another one. This is sort of like an Aztec takeoff of Cher, and it's sort of like sorry for the term, sort of an S&M sort of a look on Cher. And so again, she was just a wonderful subject. Look at her figure, by the way, how cool and groovy her figure is. Cher has always kept herself in just extraordinary shape. And so Bob was smart enough to design these clothes that fit Cher like another skin. And so these made for really wonderful photo sessions. Each of these shots may have only taken about 10 minutes to shoot, because Cher, you didn't need to tell her what to do. She would just jump right into it. Then we went into another direction, by the way, because Cher was doing some music for Casablanca Records. Again, a little controversial. During this period when Cher came out with her own music, the women's movement was about women being in bondage and not being free, and so Cher thought she'd make a statement, and Bob was asked to design facetiously her chainmail outfit for her, and so we got a kick out of doing this. And it was just one of a session that we did. This particular session was, again, about women being in bondage, but progressively going into freedom. And this was a takeoff on a Egyptian sort of princess motif. And if you notice, they brought in a real falcon here she's holding up in her arm. It was a little sketchy there getting Cher to put this on, but notice the hair. Cher had a wonderful hair artist that used to do her hair, and probably still does. And so this was all done on a huge sound stage, by the way. I've got another one from that session. To continue on, here, this is a little bit more of the Egyptian motif, and Bob designed this. Really beautiful, just the way the construction of this costume was, as you know, like the Isis from Egyptian notoriety. It's not mythology. There really was an Isis in Egyptian hierarchy. And here, Cher's figure again was really smashing. And so, okay, so we go now to Bob changes the theme again. This is another pirate outfit that Cher kind of dreamt up, and Bob, it's a really gorgeous outfit with a dagger. You can't see if there's a dagger on it, so that makes some kind of a statement that seemed to work at that time. Okay, here's another perfect example of Bob Mackie's engineering and sequin effect and high glam on Cher. Just a very simple, kind of like a mini dress, and Cher pulled this off of the poses that just a very dynamic body language. This, I think, is one of Bob's favorites too, by the way. I see it on his website. So here we're going to bring up one of the last sessions we did with the Egyptian and the women being free now, free as butterflies, so to speak, which this was the theme of this shot, was women are totally free now. They're like butterflies. And Bob designed this costume. Notice the headdress, it's a killer headdress. And he designed these butterfly wings that were made out of gossamer. I don't know if you folks know what gossamer is, but it's a real flimsy, thin material that I don't know how he did this, the engineering. Oh, and by the way, Cher doesn't have any clothes on at all. It was, you know, the set, by the way, was totally closed, so that Cher wouldn't be embarrassed in any way with stage hands coming in and out. So anyway, this is one of the last ones I did of Cher during the bondage period and the freedom period. And so I really enjoy working with somebody like Bob, who's a creative person. So not only did I get to work with Bob behind the scenes, I also got an opportunity to photograph him for a publication called Palm Springs Life. And so we've done a few sessions of him in the past, and he's such an easy guy to photograph. He's just a natural, you know, has no ego and none of that bad attitude stuff. And so we both get along really famously. And so I've always enjoyed our relationship. I really enjoy working with somebody like Bob, who's a creative person and appreciates what I do as I appreciate what he does. And so he also is doing a lot of work on TV as well, and he's achieved so many awards, Academy Award nominations for costume design, maybe 9 different Academy Awards. He's got 3 different Emmy Awards for costume design. The People's Choice Awards he's achieved. Anyway, I could go on, okay? And so, but anyway, it's been wonderful talking to you about Bob Mackie. and his achievements. And I'll look forward to bringing you another exciting episode of Behind the Scenes with Harry Langdon and his photo studios. And so please, oh, by the way, give me a thumbs up on my side. And also, do you mind subscribing to my channel? I'd really appreciate it. I always enjoyed doing these sessions with you, and I have a lot of fun. I look forward to bringing you the next one. It'll be a nice surprise, by the way, coming up. Okay, bye everybody. Love you.